are the New York Knicks. I'm back in the New York groove. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks taking no shorts, just like winter. New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is
K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Hello, welcome to episode 432 of the New York Knicks podcast. I am Jay. With me is Mark. We are part of the Almighty Baller Podcast Network and Dash Radio. How you doing, Mark?
Good. I'm doing good. How are you doing?
We took a much-needed month off.
Yes. The Knicks took like a decade off, so it seems even.
Yeah. So we're back. Thanks to the donations and the Patreon supporters, a bunch of podcasting equipment has been ordered and is in transit right now. So we are a few episodes away from having the show upgraded significantly. So hopefully we'll get that all set up before the season starts. So thank you once again, everybody who's helped support the show.
Yeah. So I'm a big New York Mets fan. The Mets started the year having this great start to the year, and now their season's been a total disaster. I've been barely able to watch baseball.
You were talking about a World Series a few months ago.
I know the Mets were like 11-1. I thought it would be the greatest season ever.
This is why I kept telling you there's 160 games. Why do you even get excited for the first 50?
Yeah. Apparently there's no reason to get excited. Anyway, I've not been able to watch baseball. I usually watch so many games, I just can't even watch it anymore. And the Mets are playing a little better lately, but still. And then the Jets are starting now. I'm a big Jet fan. And I'm very excited for Sam Darnold. He's the quarterback and going to lead us somewhere, but the team's going to be pretty mediocre this year. But I like having the young quarterback to root for, who I think will be part of their future. But I need football games are once a week. I need a lot of games. I need games on every night or almost every night, and I cannot wait till the Knicks start. It's this period where nothing's going on. You keep waiting for the preseason, the camp to open up. But I cannot wait till the NBA season starts. Are you excited?
I'm very excited.
And just having
first of all, I'm just a basketball junkie in general, so I'm in withdrawal.
But if the Knicks didn't have anyone, Porzingis is going to be out for a while, and so there's nothing about Porzingis you're going to root, hopefully he'll be back by February or whenever. If they didn't have Knox and Mitchell Robinson, I wouldn't be excited for the NBA season. I'd be like, great, the Knicks are going to be unwatchable for a whole season. This is pointless. But I am really, really excited to see how good Knox or Mitchell Robinson end up being. And that's got me really basically just like the Jets have Sam Darnold, I have the future there. Knox and Mitchell Robinson seem like they are the future of the Knicks, obviously along with KP and some other guys. But I'm really excited to see how this team plays. I mean, yeah. I think every offseason I feel like we have probably unnecessary or unwarranted optimism. And it's because before they play a game, the Knicks could win the title that year or not win a game. Who knows? It's you can get excited when the games haven't been played yet. When you have hope, right?
Yeah, I mean, let's take a step back from win a championship, but yes. Let's go with make the playoffs. Yeah, I mean, my hope this season, the Knicks have a team that can win 30, 35 games. A team that's good enough to be at that level, and you add KP, and then we're a playoff team. I mean, we can build on that. I mean, with the way the East is, 30, 35 wins is fringe playoff team.
Yeah, and the Knicks have been such an embarrassment the last 3 years that it's nice to have a team that I'm like, hey, we're building the players that we're going to be rooting for the next 5-10 years. We're building a real core that we can build around and have a shot later on.
We haven't had this since we started doing the show.
Yeah. So
this is the 10th season we will be covering on the show.
Are you just trying to make me cry right in the show?
I can't believe it's been that long.
Holy crap. It's been 10 seasons. Within 10 seasons, we've played we've been to the playoffs 3 times since we've done the show? The first year with Melo and Amari, the second year with Melo. I think it was 3 or 4 years they've been in the playoffs. How many years have they been to the playoffs?
I think it was 3.
Anyway, either way, hasn't been a lot of victories. We've gone through the second round. I mean, they lost to Boston, they lost to Miami, but then they beat Boston and lost to Indiana.
I mean, I know it's been one playoff series win since we started doing the show.
Yes. I mean, so basically, every offseason, we seem to have optimism. We seem to think things are going to work out. And maybe this offseason, like, it's unwarranted. Maybe Knox and Mitchell Robinson are garbage. Maybe this team will be bad and we'll be crying by midseason. Or maybe this team will be unwatchable within a month of the season starting. Who knows? But I thought it would be interesting for this episode to go through all the previous off seasons and talk about why we were optimistic and what happened.
Or yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Take a walk down memory lane.
Let's take a walk down memory. Nothing's really going on right now. The Knicks, I think some dates of interest. I think Knicks Media Day is September 24th. Training camp starts the 25th. Their first open practice is the 29th, and preseason opener is October 1st. All those dates are in the future. They're not now. So we're going to do a little bit walk down memory lane because it's still the off season. But I think both of us are pretty darn excited about this coming team, right?
We are. I do want to say that I am officially cutting the cord with cable. So,
how are you planning on watching the games?
That is what I'm reaching out to our listeners for.
Okay.
So, email us, nyknickspodcast@gmail.com, nyknickspodcast on Twitter.
I could probably help you out with MSG Go. Maybe we could talk about this off the air, but I could probably just help you out with that.
Don't you need Optimum to even...
I'm not cutting the cord. So I'll just help you out with that. How's that?
Okay, but I don't think I can access their app without having Optimum.
I don't think you need. I think as long as you use someone else's information, you're fine. Why are we talking about this on the show, Jay?
Okay. Well, anyway, other suggestions are also welcome.
Yeah, you have other suggestions how to watch the game, but I think I might be able to help Jay when we get off the show.
Okay. All right.
Hopefully people from Optimum are listening. Thank you, Jay. Anyway,
I mean, they should get added to other services. I'm getting PlayStation View, and
you're not even going to save that. You're not even going to save that much money. I want to hear.
Save $100 a month.
Are you?
Yeah.
How much is the internet? This people are going to love this conversation. But how much is the internet for you? $50 or $60 a month?
$70, but because my internet is separate from my cable.
Okay, $70 a month.
Yeah.
And then you're going to get.
Well, I have DirecTV, which is $145 a month, so I'm getting rid of that. And
so what are you going to use?
PlayStation View, which is $45, so I'm saving $100 a month.
That's $115. How much are you paying right now?
Cable is $145, and PlayStation View is $45. That's $100 less.
But you still have to pay for internet.
Yeah, I have to pay for internet either way, so it doesn't matter.
Wait, you were paying $145 without internet?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it started off at $40 a month.
Did they get you drunk to sign this deal?
Like I said, it started off at $40 a month, and they've been jacking it up between $10 and $20 a year because I've had it for 10 years. So it started.
I pay $145, and I'm past all the deals, and but I get internet and TV on that also.
Well, DirecTV doesn't have an internet provider.
Why don't you just do Time Warner? You're in New York City.
Because Time Warner got into a fight with MSG during the Knicks season, so I rage quit them.
Yeah, okay. Well, stop being a bitch. You can probably just get Time Warner and get a better deal.
How do I know they're not going to get into a fight again?
Oh, my God. What's wrong with you?
How am I supposed to? The only reason I had Time Warner was to watch the Knicks games, and then they didn't have the Knicks games.
They won a couple games. They won a couple games without having it. Yes, that did happen.
Like a half a season.
Oh, whatever. It doesn't even matter because it's over. They have a contract. They have a contract with MSG.
Well, it was too late because I had already quit.
Next time you should quit. Why go back to your old love?
They got into a fight with Showtime during the last season of Dexter, and then they got into a fight with MSG during the Knicks season. So I didn't. Who
cares? Who cares? You're gonna call you were paying an extra $100 a month basically because you were mad at Time Warner.
I am a man of principle.
Zero principles, huh? Your principles. You're like, I will screw myself over financially just to show you, Time Warner. I bet Time Warner's real upset about losing with me.
I showed them.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Can we get back to the show?
I mean, I'm floored by the fact that you've been doing this.
Like I said, DirecTV was $40 a month when I started.
Yeah, but they've totally been screwing you. Like, you can just get Time Warner and get their triple play package and pay like $115 for the next 2 years and get everything.
I don't want it.
What's wrong with you?
I've been scorned.
I'm not giving you my password anymore.
I've been scorned by them. Now you're scorning me?
I will actually, just because I want you to go back to Time Warner. Let's start this. Okay. No one cares about this. So we started the show off. We started our show off the year Amari was signed.
Yes, that wasn't planned. It worked out that way.
That was the year. But year before, the Knicks had basically cleared all their cap space, and they were going all in on LeBron. Didn't get LeBron. 28 other teams did not get LeBron either. Their number 2 choice on that list was they had a couple choices. Their second choice was Bosh, right?
Yeah.
They did not get Bosh.
No, they didn't.
Which would have been good to get Bosh. Their third choice was Joe Johnson, who we're pretty happy they didn't get Joe Johnson.
I'm not heartbroken over that.
That one. So their fourth choice was an uninsured Amari Stoudemire. But forgetting all that, forgetting the fact the uninsured part, and there were some parts.
I don't think you can forget the uninsured part, though.
But hang on, we were optimistic this offseason. We were excited.
Yes. Well,
yes.
At the time, we were happy about Amari, but we were very unhappy about the uninsured part.
No, but we're not. Okay, we're not going through we're not going through. Hey, saying Amari was dumb. We're talking about why we're optimistic.
Right.
So I mean, that offseason, we said like this is the. Amari was bringing. What was he bringing back to New York? He was bringing respect back to New York. Or what was the deal? He was bringing respectability. Do you remember that?
Yeah. I mean, he was in his prime.
He had come off some monster seasons in Phoenix. Mm-hmm. He was one of the better players. I mean, at the time the Knicks got him, arguably a top 10 player in the NBA.
Sure.
Okay. Top 15?
Yeah.
He was coming off some monster seasons. He was super athletic. He was basically a guy coming here that's going to score 25 points a game for us, which was pretty huge. And we had guys like Gallinari, Wilson Chandler, a young core to build around. Landry Fields had looked pretty good. We were like, this guy we got in the second round, we're just going to start him.
We were all about Landry Fields.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, Mike D'Antoni was like, I don't know who else is playing the 3. Landry Fields, you look like you're kind of an NBA player. Go for it. He started. And D'Antoni told Landry Fields, when you try to cut, and stop cutting, okay?
If you Nobody's going to pass it to you. Just give it up.
Just give it up. Just stand away from the basket. And we had Mike D'Antoni, who had some amazing seasons in Phoenix. We had one of the most coveted coaches in the NBA. After going through so many bad coaches, we were like, we found our guy in D'Antoni. Mm-hmm. I guess he had been there the year before, right? He was there. This was his second year?
Yeah.
But we were like, he's got Amari. He's got his point guard was going to be Raymond Felton. So we were excited about Felton. We Felton, Amari. We had a lot to build around. And supposedly, Carmelo Anthony was going to be a free agent and wanted to come here also. So that we had a lot of hope for the future too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a nice core, some nice young pieces. Still had we had to get rid of David Lee at that point, right?
Yeah, Lee was gone because we had to get rid of Lee.
The Knicks traded for Mr. Potential Anthony Randolph as a bouquet who we thought might play again in the NBA.
Never. Not in the Knicks, at least. We had Tony Douglas, though. Tony Douglas was still 20. He was 24 years old at this point. He still had a lot of potential. He looked like a guy. Remember, we had drafted him. He was going to be a defensive stopper. Wasn't the best. Wasn't really a point guard, or wasn't a great point guard. But he would develop in the position. We thought
there was a lot of potential guys on the team. Yeah,
we had Mozgov. We had Mozgov and the this guy from Russia, I assume from Russia. Mm-hmm. Who look a young center, maybe he was our third center who could maybe build, he can develop. We had a lot going on for the Knicks, so we were really excited. We thought the Knicks would finally, and we had Roger Mason who would go on to shoot 6% from the field that year.
Yes, that is true. We coined the term "pulling a Mason."
Yeah, and so that was a fun. Like we got excited about the offseason. I don't think either of us thought like, hey, we're not contending for a title. But we thought the Knicks were going back to the playoffs, which was for a team that's been so bad for such a long time. That was an exciting thing, right?
Absolutely, and they were a playoff team. So
yeah, I mean they traded away their young core to get Melo. We can, and they
we're
also,
not going to get into midseason stuff.
But but I mean like basically, it was a lot of things to get excited about. And they got to the playoffs, so it was something there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we go to 11-12. This is the off season where we're like, hey, we just got Melo last year. Melo and Amari seemed like they were having a little trouble gelling, but we figure once they have a full off season together, once they have a training camp together, man, they're going to be a dynamic duo gelling together.
Yeah, they're coming off of a playoffs.
Yeah, they've gone to the playoffs. We got J.R. Smith. We have a bunch of guys now that are going to have a full season together. Landry Fields is going to get better in the second. I mean, his second year. I mean, like he's a developing player.
Yeah, if he was that good his rookie year, of course he's going to improve.
Yeah,
Andy Rottens.
Do we still have? Did they still have what's it called? Did they still have Chauncey this year?
Well, that was the thing. They had Chauncey. They signed him to the extension.
No. But they did not sign. Wait, was the second year when they got Chandler? No. It was
2011, 2012. They had Chauncey, and they got Chandler a month into the season. That was when the Knicks traded Watkins and Turner.
Chandler was. Wait, no. Chandler was signed in the offseason. Are we skipping?
No, it was a trade.
Tyson Chandler was not a trade. Tyson Chandler was signed. They had
sign and trade.
Oh, it was a sign and trade. Okay,
yeah.
fine.
I sent you like all these things.
Oh, I'm not looking at that stuff.
Oh well, this would make this go a lot smoother.
No. I was thinking of the fact that he was.
I did all this research and emailed.
I forgot you sent it to me. I know you sent it to me. I completely forgot you sent it to me.
No, it was good. It's good.
Yeah. No, wasn't Tyson Chandler was part of they amnestied Chauncey Billups to get Tyson Chandler.
Yes, they signed Billups to an extension, and then they amnestied him 3 months later, so that they can have cap space for Tyson Chandler.
I feel like we're skipping a season because the first year wasn't the year they had. The first year wasn't the year when Linsanity happened.
No.
Linsanity happened before Chandler got here.
Nope, it did not.
Yes, it did. Am I losing my mind?
Yeah, you're absolutely losing your mind.
Linsanity happened after Tyson Chandler got here?
Yep. Chandler might have been injured during Linsanity, but he was here.
I thought Chandler was signed.
This is a great bit.
I know. My memory's failing me. What I thought happened was, so I remember the Knicks traded for Melo, and they got Chauncey.
Mm-hmm.
I guess Chauncey wasn't here very long. They re-upped his option, and then immediately amnestied him a few months later in the offseason.
Yep, that's correct.
And then they did a sign-in trade for Tyson Chandler. Who was in the sign-in trade?
Andy Rottens and Ronnie Turiaf.
And a second
round pick and cash.
Okay, so basically almost nothing, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of like you just signed him, and you just go, here's our trash, Dallas.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought Linsanity happened.
Maybe you should open that email.
Yeah, no, I have it open right now.
Okay.
And looking at it.
No,
for some reason, I thought, oh yeah, because they traded him.
You're driving me crazy right now.
I know, I'm driving you crazy. They traded. I want to make sure our show sounds as unprofessional as possible.
There's 1,000 people yelling into their computers right now.
They traded away Felton in the Melo trade, and they re-signed Melo is when Linsanity was gone.
Yeah.
So Linsanity happened when Chandler was. I had forgotten that.
Okay, are we good now?
Yeah, we're good now.
Jesus.
Wait, Chandler was co-acquired during this was the strike shortened season.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the season had started when the Knicks got Chandler.
If it was a strike shortened, then December was still during the strike. You're right.
Yeah, that part I knew. The Knicks had Chandler from the offseason. It wasn't during the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm not completely crazy. Okay, fine. And this is the year they fired D'Antoni.
Yeah.
So why were we excited this offseason? We were excited because we got Tyson Chandler, we had Amari, we had Melo, we had a big three.
Yeah, Amari he got injured in the playoffs, but he was supposed to be healthy for the regular season again. You have Billups, you have Melo, you have Amari coming off a playoff season.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot to get excited about. I mean, adding Tyson Chandler. Tyson Chandler was coming off the Defensive Player of the Year and had helped. Basically, he was a huge factor in winning the championship for Dallas.
Yeah, add Tyson Chandler. This is the closest the Knicks had to an actual set starting five in a long time.
Yeah, I mean who was their point guard at this point?
Well, it was Billups, and then they got rid of him, and they already got rid of Felton. I don't even know.
Yeah, who was the point guard at that point? Because
I think this is when the Knicks were starting Tony Douglas.
Yeah, was it when they started Tony Douglas? And they had Anthony Carter?
Yeah, because they traded Douglas for Camby that offseason.
Yeah. Man. Remember they had Sheldon Williams? I forgot about him.
Yeah.
For a little while, you were like, hey, Sheldon Williams might be good. No, he's not. But it was good because you added Chandler, and now you could the knock on Amari was defense. The knock on Melo was defense. Now you got Tyson Chandler. You're like, there's our defense.
Yep.
And Chandler was like, oh, so the other guys don't have to play defense? This will be fun.
Thanks. I'll just cover 3 players every play.
I don't know if he was Defensive Player of the Year with the Knicks. I don't think he actually won Defensive Player of the Year with Dallas, but he was still he was a force in Dallas.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we had 2 reasons, and we were coming off our first playoff appearance. We had a feeling that we would be pretty good. This is the year also that it wasn't working for a while. They fired D'Antoni, hired Woodson, and they started playing so much better under Woodson, right?
Yeah. We actually had an episode called Mike Woodson, Greatest Coach of All Time, which I tried to delete from the internet. So now the next season.
Wait, so but Linsanity happens under D'Antoni.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Well, if D'Antoni's fired already.
Oh yeah, no, that's because we're only doing things going into the season.
I know. I'm just saying, when did Linsanity happen?
Linsanity happened during that season.
This season.
Yeah. So they signed him during the season.
I think we're getting so many facts wrong, by the way.
Oh, this is not going the way I planned. I thought it was going to be like a recap, and it's really just like a half hour of us embarrassing ourselves.
I mean, my brain is broken. Go on.
The whole point was just to be why we were excited during the off season for each. And Linsanity happened. He was acquired. It happened, and then he left all during the season. So it's
right. My question is that was that the same year that is that the same year that
I think it was the second year. Yes, the second year.
The second year.
Yeah.
But for some reason I did not think that was the same year that Tyson Chandler was there. That's my confusion.
Mm. Yeah, I said, Chandler was in and out of the lineup with injuries, so he could have Chandler could have missed Linsanity.
I thought Tyson Chandler didn't have his issues. I thought he didn't get issues till after he. Whatever. I thought he didn't get injured till after that.
I apologize to all our listeners right
now. Okay, Tyson Chandler. That was the 30th they had. They played a strike shortened season.
Mm-hmm.
That was his first year.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was 11-12.
Okay.
This is painful. Why don't you talk for a second, okay? You just talk. I'm gonna shut up for a little bit, and you just talk. Tell people about stuff.
So this is the next season, 2012-2013, third season we're covering the show, third straight playoff season. The Knicks made a ton of moves, decided to go super super old.
This is when Lynn left, and so we were all upset about not bringing back Lynn. At the same time, how did they make the fans? How did they appease the fans?
They had 6 players aged 38 and up. They got Rasheed Wallace, Prigioni, Kurt Thomas, Jason Kidd, Marcus Camby, along with signing Jason Kidd to a multi-year contract and getting Raymond Felton back.
Okay, I'm kind of recalling the fact that Lynn and Tyson Chandler were there the same season. It is ringing a bell. But Chandler played the same amount of games that season he did the next season. He wasn't that injured, I guess. But yeah, they got a bunch of old guys.
Yeah, which it was lightning in a bottle. It worked really well. Best season they've had in the last 20 years. And
were we excited going into that season? What was the thought? Because we lost Lynn's sanity, and we all thought Lynn was going to be like this great point guard that we be lightning in a bottle. We thought he'd be really good, and then I was super disappointed when they didn't match match the Houston contract.
No, this season was more of a surprise because a lot of these guys were old, and we weren't sure if they were going to work out, and pretty much every single guy had their last good season that season.
But we were kind of sold on the idea of you got it, Jason Kidd. He's still like an amazing, like Hall of Fame point guard. I mean, end of his career, but you still got Jason Kidd. Bringing back Felton kind of was exciting.
Yeah, but think about it. I think it was Camby, Kidd, Sheed, and Thomas's all last season.
Yeah.
I mean, they all retired right after that season. It's crazy.
I thought Kirk Thomas might have played the next year a little bit, and then it was done. Maybe. But yeah, they're all basically out of the NBA really fast thereafter.
Yeah.
The Knicks went super old. That was Rasheed Wallace. Rasheed Wallace wasn't even someone we were thinking about at that point. He was brought on. He was signed at the end of the offseason, maybe.
Yeah, October.
Okay. I'm not looking at your thing again. So I guess I should just look at your thing. Okay. Which probably just has that information. Okay.
October 2nd.
Yeah, but it was right before training camp. You were like, Rasheed Wallace? I forgot he was still in the NBA. I thought he was done. And then he was pretty good for the Knicks.
Yeah, no, he was really
for his age and what you expected of him. He was pretty darn good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was a lot. And I remember that season started, and you felt like you were optimistic, but you didn't know how. You kind of thought this team would be okay, maybe a 500 team. You didn't think this team would be really good, right?
Yeah, I think we were expecting a similar season to the season before.
And then they started the season off by blowing out LeBron in Miami by 20 points in the opening night and shooting a ton of threes. And you're like, oh, this season could be special. And the Knicks won 54 games that year. And
that was also the Steve Novak season.
Yeah, there were so many things about that season. You were like, this is freaking awesome. And second round, lose to Indiana. But we were super excited about the following offseason, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Almost. The one caveat being that we got Bargs.
Yes. So, yeah, going into the next season, Knicks drafted Hardaway Jr. They did the Bargs trade where they traded Camby, Novak, Quentin Richardson, a second-round pick, a first-round pick, another second-round pick, cash, and a trade exception.
Hang on. Could you pause for a second? Good. I mean, they're all bad, but just for people to recall, if the Knicks had not done that deal, their second option was releasing him. There was no other option. Toronto was ready to release him, and the Knicks were like, "Hold off, don't release him. We'll make you a ridiculous offer.
Don't release him. We'll trade you 3 players and 3 draft picks."
Yeah, I mean that was insane. It's almost the equivalent of the Knicks are about to cut Noah. I mean, also we're not sure what's going to happen with Noah. Supposedly, Knicks are still planning on cutting him, but it's past September 1st. We'll see what happens. And I think they're trying to still see if there's any possibility of trading him because the Lakers traded. No, wasn't the Houston traded Ryan Anderson, so anything's possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, it's almost the equivalent of the Knicks are about to cut Noah, and I don't know, Sacramento jumps in and goes, "Hey guys, what about 2 first-round picks for him instead?"
Yeah.
It was the most insane thing. And the theory behind that, I guess, if you wanted to buy in, was that the East was big, man.
Apparently.
What was the theory? What was the theory of signing Bargs?
I mean, even if you wanted Bargs because the East was big, it didn't make sense. You just wait for him to get bought out.
But let's just say the Knicks had waited for him to get bought out and just add him to the roster anyway. What was the point in getting him?
Yeah, the East is big. I mean, Bargnani can put up points. It's just he was a guy who had his peak at like 25, and we got him at 28 or something.
I don't know his peak. He just never was that good. On a bad team, he could put up points. Mm-hmm. But if you want him to be part of a good team, I feel like I'd gone to a Knicks game the previous season, and it was Knicks versus Toronto, and Bargs looked really good against the Knicks. It was kind of like a poor man's Nowitzki. Mm-hmm. And I think the Knicks just saw that. Didn't realize he just looked good because the Knicks just suck. I just thought he was actually really good.
Well, this was kind of like Noah because he was coming off 2 straight seasons where he played less than 40 games.
Yeah, but was it the injuries or just Bargs was never very good on defense?
Both. Well, he was never good on defense, but he was injured.
He was always a bit overrated as a shooter. Again, like all the things about him were like people thought he was like this going to be like this great player because he could shoot from the out. He was a tall guy that could shoot from the outside, mm-hmm. but wasn't very skilled.
No,
in NBA terms, he wasn't the most athletic player and didn't know what he was doing on defense. I mean, obviously, Barks was a disaster, right?
Absolutely. This right here, going into the 2013-2014 season, is where the Knicks just decided to be insane, make weird moves, stupid trades, and just everything fell apart. So all those old guys left, retired, got traded. The Knicks signed Metta World Peace and decided not to play him.
Well, this was coming off of the weird thing of where the season where they won 54 games, they were the most successful when Amari was injured. When they went with small lineups, when they shot a ton of threes and did the 2-point guard thing. Mm-hmm. And after that, the Knicks said, you know the small lineups? We're bringing in Bargs to make that line and make the lineups so much bigger. You know how we shoot a lot of threes? Not doing that anymore. You know we did 2-point guards? Hey, Bino Udrih, we're going to sign you and then lie to you about ever doing that. They brought back Kenyon Martin. Kenyon Martin was also a big part of the previous season. But Kenyon Martin was injured most of the year.
Yeah, he was pretty much done.
But the reason, I mean, like we had reasons to be excited. We mm-hmm. figured the team would be able to build on. I mean, we had just gone to face the Indiana in the second round. You had to figure like we're gonna at least go back to the second round again, right?
Well, yeah, and like the guys the Knicks lost, you're like, well, they were between 38 and 40, so we still got the younger guys.
I mean,
the Knicks are still going to be good.
They signed J.R. Smith to a multi-year deal at a time when Knicks fans were like, "Oh, good, we got J.R. Smith back."
Not me.
But I'm just saying.
I hated it.
Yes, I understand you were skeptical, but I'm just saying.
No, I hated it. I wasn't skeptical. If you remember, he was the one who almost ruined the Knicks playoff series against Boston.
Yes, by elbowing Jason Terry. Yes. But at the same time, like on that team, he was one of our better players. I know you hated it, but he was our second scorer. Right,
which is why the Knicks had one good season and then petered out.
And I remember
should not be your second best player.
The Knicks had that 54-win season also. The Knicks had an amazing start to the season where they were 15 games over 500. I forget the exact record, but an amazing start. Then Amari came back, and the team played 500 ball for 60 straight games or 50 straight games. Then Amari got injured, and the team went on a tear after Amari got injured, which was crazy. But anyway, so we were excited. Probably, and should we not have been excited? I don't know. Should we have seen the terror? We've seen how bad things were going to get?
Phoenix said that Amari's knees were going to last at most 3 years, and this was year 3. And this was when Amari started getting injured, not in the playoffs, during the regular season.
But also, when Amari played, it didn't help. The Knicks never made it gel when he was healthy.
Yeah, well, he was fine the first 2 years when he was healthy, but when he was coming back from injury, he was never really the same. And
but I'm saying, even in the 54-win season, the Knicks were best when he wasn't playing. And I know you're saying, he wasn't as good as he had been in the past because of his knees. Also.
Right. Well, yes. But the first year he was there, the Knicks were good because of Amari. So we were still kind of
Well, it was weird because that season before they made the Melo trade, Amari was looking like an MVP candidate.
Yeah, didn't he have like 7 straight 30-plus games?
Yeah, he looked great. Him and Felton together, we were like ecstatic about how well they were playing together.
Yeah.
And then Melo came, and they just never really gelled perfectly when he was there. And then he started having injury issues.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
Okay,
so I think Tyson Chandler got injured earlier that year. They had lots of injuries. Bargs was a disaster. Knicks just missed the playoffs. Things need to change.
Yes, and they changed.
How did they change, Jay?
The Knicks decided it was a good idea to sign a multi-year contract with Lamar Odom, who was just coming off of a crack addiction and a coma.
But Jay, who signed Lamar Odom? Let's not miss the biggest signing of this offseason.
This was the Chandler Felton trade, so that the Knicks could get Calderon, Dallenberg, Ellington, and Shane Larkin.
Who made that trade, Jay? Are we going to skip over the biggest guy in this offseason? Who made this trade, Jay? Who signed Lamar Odom?
Oh, this was Phil Jackson, who decided I'm only going to go after players who were good last time I was coaching, like 5 years ago. But
forgetting that part, we were excited. I don't know if you bought into it as much as I did, but we were excited because Phil Jackson was here. Like they were coming off that season where they were. I mean, the Knicks kind of like they won 54 games, missed the playoffs the next season, decided it was a disaster and needed a clean house, and bringing Phil Jackson as their savior.
Yeah, I remember we were saying we're excited, but we also said he's never done this job before, so.
Right, and clearly he was not very devoted to the job.
We had no idea what we were in.
But could the Knicks could have probably also just run it back and tried to like compete for the playoffs instead of cleaning house?
Yeah, but what they had was not sustainable. I mean, they had older players, they had injured players. I get blowing it up, but blowing it up and then signing the fools they signed.
Well, the big thing here was that we were excited because we got Phil Jackson, or at least I was. The theory was James Dolan butts in too much. You need to get a guy that James Dolan will just trust and be hands-off and just say, you run the team, and who is better than one of the greatest coaches of all time to come in here and run the organization? And Phil Jackson, one of the hardest-working coaches in the NBA in the NBA, or he was one of the hardest-working coaches in the NBA. We were sure he was going to give that same exact effort to being the Knicks team president, which we also at the time were like, team president, why don't they just call him GM? I wonder why they gave him a different title. It's as if he did not want to actually be the GM.
Yeah.
At the time, apparently also, I guess Phil Jackson was going around the team saying that he'd come on as a consultant. And the Knicks basically made him team president, not realizing that the only job that he actually wanted was consultant. So
less than 3 months after he signed Lamar Odom to a multi-year contract, they placed Lamar Odom on waivers.
I love how you said that. Coming off of a crack addiction and a coma.
It's true. So then they decided. This is
could you imagine because before you signed his contract, Odom, let's just talk about some things. What have you been up to? I was on crack for a while. Oh, okay. I remember you were pretty good with the Lakers when I was there. Yeah, and I've been on crack since.
Yeah, I was legally dead for like a half hour.
Did you stop doing crack at any point? Yeah, I was in a coma for a little while because of the crack.
I couldn't do any crack while I was legally dead from the crack.
Okay, so multi-year? Yeah, multi-year. Let's do this. This money will get you a lot more crack, I guess.
So I don't think we're as excited about this season. This is when Phil maxed out Melo.
No, but we were excited. No, that happened the following offseason. I thought it happened the following. Was that right away?
Yeah. We're in July. We're in July of 2014 now.
Yeah. I guess it was right away. But we were excited. I think coming with the Phil there, you just figured because Phil is here, things will work out better.
Yeah, but the second Phil got in, he signed Odom and then waived him, and then he signed Cole Aldridge, maxed out Carmelo, signed Quincy Acey and Travis Outlaw.
traded Tyson Chandler and Raymond Felton for nothing, for literally nothing.
Right.
Whereas like Jose Calderon, your backup over the hill point guard. Let's do this. Calderon was like, I'm here to be your backup. No, you're a starting point guard. I'm a backup. You're our starting point guard. Shane Larkin. Yeah, it was one of those trades where you're like, I thought Tyson Chandler was better. You would get something. And Phil's like, nope, wasn't worth much. I made one phone call. That's what they offered. So that was a terrible trade. But I feel like we were still excited. We were still with the theory the Knicks were really going to build something under Phil. And we were like, this triangle, it's magic. You just say the word triangle, and you will be playing on a higher level than other players, right?
Yeah.
We talked ourselves into the triangle, right?
We tried.
We were excited about Phil.
We tried as hard as we could. Yes.
I don't think we were that skeptical going in. Like we thought, we were hoping things would really work out with the triangle.
I remember we were just like, huh. Like I think we were in denial about what was happening.
Yeah, we were like, oh, I mean, the offense looks pretty bad, but this triangle's gonna kick in anytime now.
I was like, okay. He traded our Chandler, who was our favorite player at the time, got almost nothing back. He maxed out Melo when he said he wouldn't.
I bought my wife a Tyson Chandler T-shirt also. Yeah, I was pretty big at the Tyson Chandler.
He signed a crackhead, and we're like, okay, but rough start. We'll pick this up.
You figured Odom would be pretty good. You figured maybe like Odom was going to be like revive his career with the Knicks. Like that didn't seem so unreasonable. I mean, like
no, it did.
He was no longer in a coma, so he probably played basketball again.
Presenting Lamar Odom, no longer in a coma.
I mean, the Chandler trade seemed pretty bad, but you were like, well, maybe Dallenberg could give you the same production. Maybe this guy Calderon, finally have a point guard.
Now you're just making stuff up.
No, I think we were really
happened.
We tried to talk ourselves into all these moves.
No, we did not. We tried to talk ourselves into Calderon. I don't think anybody had any expectations.
You remember they were like, shouldn't the Knicks have gotten a first round pick for Tyson Chandler? And we were like, well, Shane Larkin was the 17th pick in the draft the year before. It's kind of like a first round pick from last year. It's the same thing. Of course, what it really was, hey, that pick you guys made last year didn't work out? Can we have him?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a pretty whatever. Anyway, so we got excited about Phil Jackson. We really thought there was kind of like there's something to his aura, basically. He got 9 rings, he'll make this work. And so and he got Melo at a discount.
Yeah, one he maxed him out, but one of the 5 years he didn't take a raise, so it was like $2 million less than the full max. So
we had just missed the playoffs last year. Melo, we still had Melo. We got rid of Tyson Chandler, but we had a new cast of some players. We probably thought we were going to have a shot at the playoffs again, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, worst season in franchise history.
But just good enough to miss out on the first 3 picks.
Yeah, but we got Porzingis. So anyway, we the following offseason, we drafted
Porzingis.
We draft. Jay calls this pick like 6 months out. We draft Porzingis. Porzingis is supposed to be this very special player. Jay was definitely more excited about Porzingis than I was. I was very skeptical about Porzingis until I started watching at least him in the preseason. I didn't get that excited about him before then because he didn't play in summer league, right?
Right.
And so I had not really seen him. I'd read about him. You see some workouts, but until I actually saw him really play, I was like, oh, this guy actually looks pretty good, right?
Yeah.
But going into that, I was skeptical. And I thought this year was like, the Knicks are coming off the worst season in franchise history. I guess the only way from here is up. But this year, Phil Jackson will finally get the triangle right.
Yeah, this was the season where you... I was more excited than you were.
Yeah, I had trouble getting excited here.
Because I didn't like Hardaway. They traded Hardaway for Grant.
Yeah.
They got Hernan Gomez. They got Porzingis.
Yeah, Grant was someone that we thought maybe Grant could come in there and be our point guard of the future. Yeah. Hernan Gomez we thought was going to be pretty good. They signed Lance Thomas.
Yeah, we were wrong a lot that season.
No, Lance Thomas, they got him during the offseason. He was part of the J.R. Smith Shumpert trade.
Mm-hmm. We were happy about that.
Yeah, but again, that was also like the Knicks were like, Phil was like, I have to trade Shumpert with J.R. Smith to get rid of J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith's worthless. He's a cancer to the team. Mm-hmm. And he gets to Cleveland. LeBron's like, you're a starter. And he was a starter there for the next 3 years. And they won a bunch of titles. Or they got to a bunch of finals.
Yeah, well, it helped that J.R. Smith is like, oh, I'm going to just not be a raging alcoholic druggie for like the next couple of years and focus on basketball. But
it was weird. The Knicks were like, we had to like trade Shumpert just to get rid of
well, J.R. was a screw-up cancer on the team. Like, he did have to go.
But it was weird that you couldn't get anything for a guy that the other team immediately made a starter.
But you didn't know he was going to get his act together.
I know, but it was... Didn't you think that I don't know why we even rehashed this, but Phil did a pretty bad job with that trade. He could have gotten... Shumpert on his own was worth a draft pick.
Yeah, well, wasn't there the rumor that OKC was interested?
Yeah, there was a rumor they had offered a draft pick for him, a late first-round pick. It was basically they traded Shumpert and J.R. Smith, and then like immediately cut all the guys they got in exchange.
Yeah,
and then signed Lance Thomas to a 10-day contract to eventually end up re-signing him.
So not the best.
Not the best. So anyway, the second season with Phil.
Even worse.
How many years is Phil here for? 3?
It feels like 10.
So anyway,
at this point we were not excited going into the offseason.
No, I mean this point we were not excited. We did not see. Well, we had KP coming into his second year, so that was going to be exciting. But we didn't have a draft pick coming up.
It took us a long time to not get excited. Like there was a lot of bad stuff before we.
Yeah,
stopped being excited.
I mean, the second year with Phil was pretty goddamn bad. I mean, the first year was horrible, but the second year was pretty goddamn horrible too.
Yeah,
it's like there was things where like he'd come there and like force the team to do a. Oh wait, the second year is when he fired he fired Derek Fisher. Like randomly, like they were 20 and 20, like 22 and 22. They lost a couple games and Fisher was suddenly out with no real explanation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was goddamn weird. And then we had the off season where like we were like what's his name, was he really going to be the coach? Was Rambis really going to be our coach? Until Phil eventually hires Hornacek, who has very limited experience also. Who's Hornacek's like, yeah, I've never coached the triangle, and Phil's like, he's got the triangle. Feels like he's gonna run a modified triangle. Hornacek's like, sure, whatever, I need a job.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was a. I don't know how we root for this team. But that was this is coming in the offseason from the offseason where this is one of the offseasons where we did not get excited.
Yes.
Where everyone got excited, or a lot of people got excited, and we just thought this was just a series of just idiotic moves in this offseason.
Yeah.
This is the offseason coming in where they got Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah. Those worked out amazingly.
Yeah, we got 2 1-star ratings on iTunes for not liking the Derrick Rose move.
So the Knicks won from their worst season in franchise history when they won 17 games. They got up to 32 wins. In theory, the Knicks were heading in some right direction, and then they made all these moves.
Well, we liked Grant and Robin Lopez. Lopez was on a very reasonable contract. So the Knicks traded Calderon, Grant, and Lopez to get Holiday and Derrick Rose.
Oh, yeah. We didn't even mention the fact the Knicks had Robin Lopez.
Well, that happened during the season, that's why.
It didn't happen during the season, did it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I got to look at your email. I thought that was an off-season move. I'm pretty sure that was an off-season move.
Well,
I'm 100%. Where is it on your list?
We're in 2015, 2016 now. Well, that's when the Knicks traded him.
The Knicks traded. I'm saying Robin Lopez. The Knicks got Robin Lopez during an off-season.
Did they?
Yeah. Did you forget this?
Yeah, I missed that on the email.
Okay, because July 9th, 2015, Lopez signs for the Knicks. It was that 4-year, like, it was a pretty reasonable contract.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a good year with the Knicks, and the Knicks traded him away. Yeah,
he was really good on defense.
Anyway, so this is the year that people were like, Derrick Rose thought we had built a super team here, and some other fans thought, hey, he was an MVP, and Joakim Noah, Defensive Player of the Year. I'm sure those things will happen again while they're Knicks.
Yeah. So that was 2015, 2016. 2016, 2017 were still bitter. But then the Knicks decided to give Noah that ridiculous contract. They signed Brandon Jennings, Lance Thomas multi-year contract, Courtney Lee.
This has been the most depressing walk down memory lane possible. I'm sorry we even did this bit.
This is when they bought out Amari.
Oh yeah, that was. Did they bought out Amari during the regular season? Oh my god, that was a regular season move.
Yeah, this was the Ron Baker big contract.
No, Ron Baker big contract was the following offseason.
Oh, this was just the 1-year contract. Okay.
Yeah, Ron Baker was the year.
You're right. That was just the one.
Hardaway was the same.
Okay, so let's just move quicker. That was 2016, 2017. That was sucked. And then last year, big contract for Hardaway, big contract for Ron Baker.
So this is the big move that offseason though was Phil, after being so excited to get Phil, 3 years later we were so excited when Phil was fired.
So excited.
Or forced to leave or something. So he was gone. He drafted Ntilikina for us and then left. Which some people were like, "Oh, great! You fired the guy after the draft, not before the draft."
Yeah.
Even though I'm happy to have Ntilikina here, though I'd be happier to have Donovan Mitchell here. But me and you both were in for Ntilikina at the time anyway. So, but Phil leaves, and that was the big move of the offseason. Really, we were going to right the ship because Phil was gone.
Yeah, he was so bad. Just not having him was an improvement.
Yeah, I was really excited for this team for the sole reason just not having Phil here. I figured like now the team would be better. Hornacek, in theory, would run his own offense now, not the dumb triangle thing where Phil kept trying to force on the team. Timmy Hardaway, I don't think we were excited for Timmy Hardaway, but we didn't think he would be bad though.
I hated it. See, people say I'm too negative and I hate a lot of the moves, but I'm always right.
I mean the Timmy Hardaway. I think we thought it was ridiculous the contract he got, but I tried to talk myself into Hardaway. Yeah, and KP, we figured he'd come into his own more. Now he doesn't have Phil to deal with because I remember Phil was contemplating. He did a special on MSG talking about he was going to trade KP before the draft.
Then he had his buddy write an article like trashing KP.
Holy crap. Yeah. I mean, I guess this all gets us to this offseason, basically. I mean, is there any other moves that like we're forgetting to mention? I mean, the Knicks...
If we did, I'm sure we'll get messages about it.
Sure, whatever. I mean, they had signed Beasley. Not to be excited for Beasley. We're forgetting a bunch of guys that they signed over the years. They didn't really matter in the overall picture. But this offseason, I mean, the big moves of this offseason were the draft picks.
Yeah.
Knox and Mitchell Robinson, and obviously we're only based it on Summer League performance, but those guys look really good. Did they make any other moves this offseason that really matter?
No.
Well, what else did they brought in Herzanya. Is that close? Mario? Herzanya? Herzonia. Yeah, there's not too many other moves, but we have a bunch of... I mean, they brought in like Vonleh, who maybe will be good. But this season seems like the first season where they're really like developing a team and trying to move forward.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to like... It does not feel like a lot of patchwork.
No, it seems like they're actually going with the youth movement this time.
Yeah, there's no bringing in a bunch of veterans who will take all the young guys' minutes. Yeah, most of the guys are young guys on the team, so there aren't that many veterans that are going to even get playing time in this team. Noah probably will be gone. Cantor will probably get a lot of minutes, but his days are numbered here also.
Mm-hmm.
We lost Kyle O'Quinn in the offseason, but I don't think we're going to really miss Kyle O'Quinn. I don't think it's going to be a big deal.
No.
Yeah, so I'm excited. So I'm pretty excited. From 1 to 10, how excited are you about for this season?
I'm like a 7, not because I think the Knicks are going to be good, just because I think they have a young team and they're going to be interesting and fun to watch.
Yeah.
I'm fully expecting them to have a terrible record, but I think they're going to be fun to watch, which is, at this point, that's all I want. I want to enjoy watching the team.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what offseason would be the equivalent of excitement. I mean, as far as how excited I've been, I am for the Knicks now versus like previous off seasons when we got excited. Like, I guess like similar level of excitement. I probably was similarly excited when Phil got here because I thought things were going to finally change.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I was similarly excited when Amari got here, or even the offseason after Amari got here when it was Amari and Melo.
Yeah.
The 54-win season, I was a little skeptical going to the season. Well, for you, what off seasons were you as excited as you are now?
I think you named the two because the 54-win season. You're right. It came out of nowhere. We were both really surprised about that.
And that offseason was a bit tainted by losing Linsanity. And all the guys they brought in were like the older veterans that like you were like, I'm excited, but like I'm a little concerned.
Yeah, a lot of the other seasons it was like a little tainted because of a move. Like, we lost Chandler one season, we lost Lynn one season.
You couldn't be excited about like you couldn't be excited about like they won 54 games, but the following off season you were like, why the hell is Barks here?
Yeah,
and so that kind of tainted things also.
Yeah, it's like, hey, we lost like 5 guys, but we got Barks.
Yeah, so I mean, all those moves made it harder to be excited. Yeah, I feel like Knox is going to be. I think the Knicks are going to be bad this season, but I feel like 30 to 35 wins doesn't sound. I always make a prediction now. I'd say 34, 31, 34 wins. More wins than they got in any season under Phil.
I'm gonna go 31.
Okay.
Just because their best player is out until maybe January.
I think they're going to manage to win some games with Knox. And Robinson's going to look better than people expect. I expect Robinson will spend some time in the D League, but I don't know. I like what they're doing. I feel like this team is going to be a little bit. I like the coach. I think the coach has me really excited. This is as far as coaches the Knicks have had. Well, then I was going to say this is the most excited I've been about a coach since Mike Woodson, I guess, because the Knicks looked pretty good under Mike Woodson at first.
Yeah, they did. But we weren't excited about Mike Woodson going in.
Yeah, as far as coaches going in, I mean, I guess we were excited about before we started the podcast with Antoni going in because you figured the Knicks had gotten a really good coach.
Yeah.
I was excited about Larry Brown.
Oh my God.
I don't know if we have much more to go. Is there anything you want to add to this, or should we? Anything else new and going on in Knicks news?
Let's take a quick break and we'll come back, do some questions, and move on from there.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll be right back. All right, we are back. What do you say we do some questions?
I would love to do some questions.
nyknickspodcast@gmail.com. Axel writes, hey guys, what's your take on the possible trade rumor that OKC trading Kyle Singler and Alex Abrines for Courtney Lee? OKC get a decent 3-and-D player and dump 2 expiring contracts for next season. Knicks will waive Kyle Singler and get the free up cap space for the next offseason where we're looking to make some big moves. Obviously, we'll miss out on Kyrie, Butler, and KD and offer 2 mediocre guys max contracts. The trade makes so much sense, so it probably won't happen. Regards from Sweden.
Okay, so I'm assuming this is the OKC's GM is writing to us from Sweden, and if assuming he is, I'm down. Let's do this.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, how could you not like this? I think Courtney Lee. I like Courtney Lee. He's a vet, though. He's not part of the future. We need to move on. If we get something for him, that'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, I like Courtney Lee, but yeah, I think that's a fair trade. He just doesn't fit what the Knicks are doing right now.
I mean, the thing with Courtney Lee is that you have to give him minutes. He's a veteran. He's a solid player. You got to give him minutes. I don't think he brings enough value anymore. Like, obviously, he brings value to a team that's good, but to a young team like us, I'd rather clear the minutes so other guys can play. What?
The next email is a guy saying he wants to do SEO for our website, and he said we could do a deal if you feed me grapes, purple grapes, MFR.
Wait, what was the rest of the email? Read the whole. What I write?
He says, "Hello. As an online marketing becomes prevalent in the new age of digital media, blah 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 blah." And you wrote, "Hi, we can do a deal if you agree to feed me grapes." And then parentheses says, "Purple grapes, mother effer. While I'm being fanned by a minority, you're calling the ethnicity while listening to the best of CCR, so underrated. I will need your answer in 48 minutes." Oh, that one took me off guard.
Strangely, I never got an email back from the guy. But Jay and I share the Knicks account, and we get lots of random emails from people saying they're going to give you better Google web services or something like that. And I often write them back with these bizarre emails, just so that Jay will go through his emails and find these weird emails.
There's another one, back to back. This guy wants to do digital marketing, and you wrote, "I had a dream about you last night. You were digital marketing my ballsack."
This is what I do at work. Keep myself. It's really Jay doesn't even comment them ever, so it's really just me amusing myself by writing these emails.
Well, I usually ignore the when I see SEO. I get a pop up when we get a Gmail email, and I'll see SEO and I won't open it, but I don't get a notification if Mark responds to it. So a month later, I'll just go through, and I'm glad it has my full first and last name and my picture on the emails, though.
It's your picture.
It's good stuff.
That's the best part. It's and I'll sign it I'll sign some random name, and it's a picture of you.
I gotta figure out how to get rid of
that. The most offensive shit possible.
Yeah. Okay, so Lorenzo writes, "Hey guys, when are you going to bring back the Man on the Street segment? Ring random stores on the West Coast and ask their opinion on the upcoming Knicks season. What was that one store that was really into it?"
I think Safeway in California was into it.
I thought it was a Target as well.
Oh, might have been a Target. I don't know.
Yeah, we will bring that back when I get the equipment hooked up, because then it'll be much easier to do that.
Yeah, I'm very down for doing. We'll do more bits like that as soon as the equipment gets here, and Jay makes the magic happen, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What else you got?
There's so many of these emails.
What emails?
For people asking to do
the SEO stuff?
Oh, yeah. A lot of these are just you giving one-word answers.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
I had some more exchanges I think you missed on this list. I usually star them when I respond, just so Jay can catch them.
Oh, that's why they were starred. Okay. Yeah, you're asking if you can do a website for us. We have a very popular S&M and slave trade community.
Oh, what was that? I had an exchange with a guy. What was the full email?
"I want to introduce myself. We're Indian web design, web development, mobile app. We have 10 years of experience. You said, would you be able to assist me with my website? Is there any way you could assist me without seeing the content of my website? I just don't want the police involved, and I'm worried you would call them. But yes, all that web development stuff seems awesome, and I could pay top dollar if you can keep your mouth shut." And you signed it Wile E. Coyote. And he responded. He said, "What kind of content do you have in your website? Why do you not want to show the content with us?" And that's when he wrote, "S&M, we might be offended by... Regular folk might be too offended by our too politically correct culture. I know I have found the right person in you who understands the way the world really works. We're willing to pay a premium for your excellent work in silence throughout. You need to do all the work in my Middle Eastern compound. We allow no photography, phones, or clothes while we're doing the work. We could make a lot of money working together. Let me know if you were in like Flynn." And you changed your name from Wile E. Coyote to Poopsie McGillicuddy.
Did he write back or no?
He did not write back to that one.
Okay. Yeah, I thought there was an email about S&M sex trade, or you skipped over that part. Okay, let's go back to the Knicks. Anything else going on in the Knicks world?
Jorge writes, "How ridiculous is it that the Knicks E-League affiliate went from 8th seed to the finals. Will history repeat yourself? Also, do you guys respect gaming leagues? I sure as hell don't. So the Knicks
sure
NBA 2K League made the finals.
I mean, I guess I'm just thinking like later on, he's 7 years old. If he got into really gaming, he was like, I want to be a gamer. I don't know. Like, you would try to talk your kid out of it. Yeah. I wouldn't. My son was like, I need to play 12 hours a day because I'm working towards being a professional. I don't know if I'd be excited about that. And these guys could probably make some money. But it just seems like I don't know. I don't have a lot of respect for the gaming league. Do you, Jay?
No.
You're more of a gamer. Do you have you'd be pretty excited if you could get into the gaming league, right?
Yeah, but I'm not gonna follow the gaming league because there's a Knicks team. I don't know. It just doesn't get me excited.
Jay, would you, if you had a son who said, I want to be a gamer, so I want to spend 12 hours a day playing games so I can, because that's what I got to do to really make it, Dad. Would you beat the crap out of your son to stop him?
I wouldn't be happy because the thing is, there's no game that really lasts that long. So you spend 12 hours a day, and then that fad is over, and then you have no skills.
But beyond that, let's just say he's going to build a skill in whatever game that'll get him there. Do you really want your kid doing that?
No.
I mean, so the gaming league. I guess gaming is getting bigger. I don't know. Do you know anyone that likes to really watch these things? I know you said you'll watch sometimes watch people play video games online, but do you know anyone that really gets into it? That would go to an event
like buying jerseys and stuff? No. I know a lot of people who will watch games, but I don't think anybody I know is super gung ho buying tickets to a tournament or something.
Let's just say at work they were like, "Hey, we got the equivalent of box seats. We got front row tickets to this. Here, Jay, you want them? Would you go?
I would probably go just to see what the spectacle, because I think it would be amusing to see people going that nuts.
Yeah.
I watched the live stream of a Fortnite thing. I've never played Fortnite, so I had no idea what was going on. But the announcers were announcing it like a wrestling match, and they were going nuts over things, and I didn't even understand what was happening. It was oh my god, I can't believe he did that, and I thought it was interesting.
That makes it more exciting with the announcers, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the Fortnite dances are huge with kids?
Fortnite dancers?
Dances.
Oh, dances. Yeah.
My son has never played Fortnite, but knows a bunch of the dances, and all his friends know a bunch of the dances.
That's weird.
I was telling we were friends, and I was like, and the guy's daughter was 4 years old, and it was I was telling him about that, and he's like, really? His daughter knew one of the dances, and she's like, I'm like, yeah, they know these dances, and I said to his daughter, take the L, and she started doing the take the L dance, and he's like, I've never seen her do this before. How did she know this?
That's interesting.
Yeah. Well, whatever. Anyway, are we excited for the Knicks E-League team? Who gives a crap? Just because they're named Knicks, I can't get excited for that.
No.
Yeah.
Let's see. We have, I think, one more. Mr. C writes, "Hi guys, just heard an interview with Enes Kanter on the radio. Apparently he thinks this is a huge year for him as it's his contract year and he wants to stay with the Knicks for many years to come and presumably get paid big money. How happy would it make you if Kanter gets loads of minutes this season, pads his stats, and then the Knicks offer him a 4-year, $80 million contract at the end of the season?"
I'd have a lot more free time when we end the podcast. Do you think so? Supposedly he's working on his 3. Do you think he will shoot a lot of threes, and do you think he'll be decent at shooting threes? I'm not saying he's worth keeping, but
I think he would take more threes. I don't think he's going to be particularly good at them. Nor do I really care. Even if he's good at threes, he's still so bad on defense. He's almost unplayable. So I don't really care.
Yes, he is unplayable on defense. Where was that clip? Maybe it was Dick's Film School might have put it together, or no, it was on. It was on Posting and Toasting. They put a film clip. It's a couple of plays of Kanter just being completely out of position or just letting guys score at will on him, basically.
Yeah, just doing there's like pickup games now with NBA players. He's just letting people drive straight to the lane, uncontested. People are saying, nobody plays defense in these games. Whenever I play like a rec league game, like I still like have some self-respect and don't want people just driving on me. Like,
but forget that. Just the regular season, he just doesn't know where to be on defense, and he's not going to figure it out at this point. And he's just not that athletic to make up for when he doesn't know where to be on defense. Like if you watch, the example like Mitchell Robinson from the summer league, and this is summer league, but he was out of position a lot and could make up for it because he's a highly athletic individual.
Yeah.
You just don't see Cantor at any point making up for his lack of court awareness.
Yeah, yeah.
But I say he shoots some threes, and I'd say he's a 33% shooter from the field. He's going to hit some threes, which is not terrible. I think he's going to shoot some threes and hit some. Because I think under also our new coach here, he's going to want everyone to shoot threes, and I think Cantor's going to be all about it.
Yep. We have one more email.
Oh, okay. That's what I was
Felipe writes.
Yeah.
What? This is what happens when we take a month off. We have a lot of emails.
Well, Facebook is no one is interested in Facebook. We only have 4 questions on Facebook, so
good.
Go.
Felipe writes, "What Pokemon do the Knicks need? Realistic prospects only. Arceus isn't coming to New York." Mark, what's your favorite Pokemon?
The yellow one. I couldn't know less about. I could not know. I have the exact same amount of knowledge of Pokemon as I do of the WNBA.
I would say Mr. Mime because it is a jester. Okay,
I hope that made sense. Facebook. Alex writes.
Well, no, this is a 3-part question.
Oh, there's more Pokemon questions? Great.
No. Actually it is. If the current Knicks players were Pokemon, where would you need to go to catch each one in Pokemon Go?
I don't know, Jay. This is really again you. I've never played this game before.
Well, just think of a funny place where you would catch Knicks players.
I guess like the 6th, 7th, and 8th rings of hell.
What part of New York City has no defense?
I don't know. A construction site that had no fence, and we'd say no defense. I don't know. On Avenue D.
No, that's where they would not be. Avenue D.
Yeah. I where would the Knicks? You do the first one. Where?
That street that Club One Oak is on. Because I think that's where the Knicks drink.
Club One. Oh, okay. I assume I would say in a field in Central Park, Lost.
You could catch a few in Westchester. They're practicing there.
Okay. Yeah, you can practice there. You can catch. I don't know. Where are we catching? What are we trying to say? Where they're catching?
If the current Knicks players were sections on the CPA exam, what would they be?
Jay, I think this one's aimed at you.
Yeah. Well, I think the auditing section is probably the easiest section.
Okay.
So that would be all the fringe on the team players.
Okay.
The Damian Dodsons of the roster.
What section would Kevin Knox be?
Kevin Knox would probably be
the part
BEC,
you can't pass?
Because BEC has an essay, and you don't know what you're going to get in the essays.
Okay.
And Porzingis would be the financial portion, because that is probably the hardest part, and it has the most concepts brought into it, and he has the most aspects to his game.
Okay.
There's no easy part, so I can't put in like really bad players or anything because there's no. You know what I mean? Thank you, Felipe.
Okay, cool. Facebook writes. Alex writes. Thoughts on the infuriated Knicks fan who sold his fandom on eBay? Jay, he got, what, $2,500 for this?
No, I think 34.
$3,400 for it?
Yeah.
Are you jealous you did not do this?
I'm thinking if this one guy who nobody knows got 3,400, how much could we get for this podcast?
Yeah, we just sell the entire podcast.
I mean, well, the thing is, he's rooting for the team. He agreed to go to 2 games this season, so like a home and an away. So like the winning vote was the winning bid was for LA, so he has to go to LA to go to a game now.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a trip to LA. It's not the worst thing.
No, but it's not like he's just saying he's a fan. Like he's actually like legit going to games and stuff.
Oh, so he has to like get tickets and go to a game.
Yeah.
Part of this.
Yeah.
Oh, does that part of like he has to come out of his share?
Yeah.
Oh, that's annoying.
So you got to figure like that's like almost $1,000 already between the tickets and the trip to LA and all that stuff.
Doesn't sound like as good a deal as I thought. And you get to the details, doesn't sound as good.
Yeah. But you figure for our podcast, we had to get at least $10,000 for it, right? But then we would have to do a podcast on another team.
You know why we wouldn't do this? Because we would do this and we'd get like $100, and we still have to do the other team.
Yeah, we would get less than the nobody, and then we would have to do a podcast on like the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah, and that would be hilarious and horrible at the same time.
Yeah.
Oscar writes, glad you guys are back. Hypothetically, what would you choose between a top 3 pick and a first round elimination? So either a top 3 pick of the draft, which means you're horrible, or 8th seed losing the first round of the draft. More realistically, and regardless of their final record, can the Knicks at least finally have a drama-free season with KB coming back all right and the young players developing nice, which is really all I'm asking for. So the first part, top 3 pick or first round exit, Jay, 8th seed.
I would rather a top 3 pick.
I will take the 8th seed. And I in the past, I would have completely agreed with you, but I don't want the team to tank this year. I want the team to be good. And I think of the Knicks, with KP coming back in the second half of the season or late in the season, if they make the 8th seed, that means Knox is pretty good. It means Ntilikina is getting better. It means all these young players are playing pretty darn well. And so I'll get really excited.
I wouldn't complain if the Knicks made the 8th seed. It's just the idea of having technically if the Knicks get a top 3 pick, they could have a full 5 young guy starting lineup.
Yeah, but if you get a top 3 pick, that means Knox probably had a bad season. A lot of the young guys had bad seasons.
Maybe. I mean, this is a young team. He could have had a good season. Like the Knicks were just outmatched.
I don't know. I mean, like yes and no. I mean, but like a top 3 pick, you have to be really bad. You have to win like 17 games.
Yeah, we know it happened like a lot in the last few years.
Yeah. I'm just saying, if you're top 3 bad, that means you're probably. I know that probably means your whole team is kind of trash, and so whoever you're drafting, it'll be KP and that guy, and that's it.
Well, you got to remember the entire West is pretty good. Like, there's probably 12 good teams in the West, so it's a lot easier to get a bad pick this year.
Yes and no. I mean, to get a bad pick.
I mean, to get a good pick because, like, since there's already 12 good teams in the West and probably like 6 in the East.
Well, if there are 12 good teams in the West, that means the Sacramento Kings are going to lose a lot of goddamn games.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that with all the better teams, like the worst teams will be even worse. They'll be like you're going to have to lose a lot of games to get a top 3 pick this year.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I would absolutely go. I want this team. I am only up for tanking when the team looks really lost and things just really aren't working out. I want to see this team. I would be very, very happy with a playoff appearance this year and an 8th seed. Mm-hmm. First round exit because because also like you really feel like Knicks make the 8th seed this year. They're really working towards something for the following year.
Yeah, no, I agree.
The top 3 pick, it's not nothing's guaranteed. But like if Knox is playing well enough to get them to the 8th seed this year, then maybe we found one of our cornerstones.
Mm-hmm.
The second part of his question: can the Knicks have a drama-free season? I mean, I guess getting rid of Noah is part of it. Then the drama's over.
It's so hard to imagine the Knicks having a drama-free season. I guess it's possible.
Yeah, everyone just thinks the coach did a decent job. The team's developing, and I mean, if they're a top 3 pick, there's not going to be drama-free. But if they're like going for an 8th seed, then the drama's just like, oh, this seems pretty good. We're pretty happy about it, but you can't see things being all that bad.
Yeah.
Will this be a drama-free season, Jay?
No.
Not a shot in hell.
No. It never is.
It never is. You can't even predict what's going to happen.
No. That's why we have a board on my in my office. We have Knicks Days Without Embarrassment countdown, and every time they do something embarrassing, we reset the clock.
Ralph asked, when does training camp start? I think we talked about that already. Alex writes, I think it was the 24th or 25th. 25th, I think, was when training camp starts. Alex writes, September, yes. What are your opinions? So, yeah, but next show, today is the 9th. So next show will be pretty darn, assuming are we going weekly now?
Probably. We might skip next week, but after that, we'll definitely be going weekly.
Yeah, because the following week, as of the 23rd, camp is opening right that week. So
yeah.
Possibly next week skip, yes. So we're kind of back. What are your opinions of the Knicks fans, Alex writes, what are your opinions of the Knicks fans debating whether or not to retire Melo's jersey? Are there any former Knicks you think should have had their jersey retired? So the first part of the question, this is not whether Melo is a Hall of Famer. I think we can probably, whatever you think of Melo, he's probably going to be in the Hall of Fame, right, Jay?
Melo's a Hall of Famer.
Okay.
That being said,
should Melo be retired by the Knicks?
That's crazy talk.
That is insane talk.
Yeah, just stop that.
The Knicks made the second round of the playoffs with him. That is it. They had 3 playoff appearances, 2 first-round exits. I don't know. I mean, how long was Melo here for? 5 years?
6, I think.
6 years, yeah. One of those seasons included him being out most of the year.
Half, yeah.
He had some solid numbers here, but he was an albatross last year. I mean, the year before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's.
How many good years did he have here? When he was there, he got here in the 10-11. He was there for half a season. No, he was pretty good. The following year, he was good again. The following year, he was good again. He was good again even the following year, and then he started falling off pretty fast, and stopped helping the team pretty fast.
Yeah. And he played no defense pretty much the whole time.
He was a very good Knick. Can you argue overall he was the best player on the Knicks the whole time he was here, right?
Yeah, but retiring his number
retiring his number just seems extreme.
The people who are saying that are probably very young.
Yeah, I mean there aren't that many Knicks players retired, and all the other guys that retired have had great career. Did a lot here.
Yeah.
Knicks retired. Let's look at the retired numbers here. Let's see. We have. I know Patrick Ewing, obviously. Let me see if they have the actual.
If Oakley's not retired, he should be retired.
Okay, here we go. Knicks retired numbers. Oakley's not retired.
He should be retired.
Would you retire Oakley first or Melo first?
Oakley.
I would agree. They were at least really good with Oakley here. So here are the retired numbers. The only guy from our era is Ewing. Number 10, Walt Frazier. Number 12, I assume you don't want to guess who the numbers are, right?
No.
12, Dick Barnett, who played a long time ago in the 60s. Earl Monroe, part of 2 championship teams. Dick McGuire, again, he was in the 50s. I think the Knicks were in the Knicks made 3 straight finals appearances in 1951, 52, and 53. No one even cares about that, right? When you talk about the Knicks being in the finals, what year do you talk about? Any year before 1970?
No.
Yeah, we don't even talk about that. I mean, but 19 Willis Reed, 22 Dave DeBusschere, 24 Bill Bradley, 33 Patrick Ewing, 613. Who's 613, Joe? You know?
No. Oh, Red Holzman.
Yeah, it's Red Holzman. That's it. Those are all the players and one coach in Knicks history that are retired. I don't see the case of retiring Melo based on that list. I mean, you would sooner retire Van Gundy's number than you would have Melo, because at least they had a lot of success under Van Gundy. Are there any former Knicks that you feel like should be retired? Oakley, you said?
Yeah, that's about it.
I think Oakley would even be borderline, but I really did love Oakley. I don't know who else you would even put up there.
Yeah, I can't. I know some people might say Starks.
Yeah, I mean, those are like, you're not really going to retire. Starks wasn't all that great. We liked Starks, but Starks was J.R. Smith, a better defensive player, a better defensive version of J.R. Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's all we have for today, Jay.
Yeah.
What did we learn today?
We learned that when Jay does a lot of preparation, Mark doesn't even open the email, and then the first 20 minutes of the show is a complete mess.
It's been a long off season, Jay, and we had a break from the show. I just not had my mind on the Knicks for the last month. I've been totally Knicks free in my mind.
We take a month off, and then Mark forgets how to podcast.
I forget everything. I cannot believe how little I forgot. Yeah, it all blends together. I'm also, in fairness, when we started the show, I had 0 kids. I now have 2 kids, ages 7 and 4. A lot has happened for me to keep all the Knicks stuff straight.
That is just crazy.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy. Also, you did send me an email. I should have looked at the email closer.
So, yeah, we're back doing the fantasy league again. I think I sent emails to everybody who was in the league last year. If I missed you, email me, nynextpodcast@gmail.com. It's a live auction-style draft, $25 buy-in. Pot goes to the winners, top 3. Draft is October 13th, 8 p.m. It's a Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So people who were in last year get first dibs, but if people don't join, then there'll be some spots opening. So if you're interested, email me, and then I'll email you back if people from last year did not join. And I think that is it for the housekeeping stuff.
Cool.
NY Knicks Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. The New York Knicks Podcast.com is the website. Check out almightyballer.com. They have a podcast for every single team. So if you
I don't think they actually have a podcast for every single team, by the way.
It's 27 teams. Nobody's called me out on it yet.
I forget who I looked for and they didn't have it, but go on.
And they have a lot of general NBA podcasts around the leagues. They have a draft-centric podcast.
Why don't you just say, if people aren't going to call you out, just say something else like it's the most popular podcast network in the world. But just say that also.
Sure. It's the number 1 NBA podcast network.
It's just LeBron James supports the network.
Okay. Thanks for listening, everybody. We will be back within 1 to 2 weeks, hopefully with all the new equipment hooked up and sounding great.
But from there, we'll be back every week. Once we're back, we're really back.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
All right. Bye, buddy.
Bye, love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's all over. Goodbye.